Okay, this is some exam practice for Year 11 with your 8-mark case study questions. We're going to have a look through one of the urban 8-mark questions to have a look about how we break down the question to answer it successfully. So the question that we're going to be looking at is as follows. Explain how urban living can be made more sustainable, and that's worth 8 marks. It's worth noting that this question has come up several times as the 8-mark question for the urban section of the paper. Slightly different wording each time, but it is quite a popular one, so we need to make sure that we know how to answer it. Now, the first thing that we would like you to do is something called bug the question. Now, the B stands for box the command word. The next one, U, means underline the focus. So what's the question wanting you to focus on? And finally, G is glance back over the question to make sure that you've read it properly. So the command word, quite clearly in this question, is explain. So we put a box around that. The focus of the question is urban living and how it can be made more sustainable. So they're the two key words that we need to underline. And just have a quick look back over the question. Explain how urban living can be made more sustainable. And a reminder that it's worth 8 marks. Okay, what you need to do now is in your notes, whether you're doing this in your exercise book or on your revision pack, you need to make sure that you first of all define what the command word means. So we know that the command word is explain, but what does that actually mean? What does the examiner want you to write about in your exam? Next thing that you need to do is to identify if the answer is a point answer or level marked. If it was worth 1, 2, 3 marks, it would be point marked and you'd be expected to make several points, 1 point per mark. But when it's a 6 or an 8 mark question, or a 5 mark indeed, the examiner is asking you to do more extended writing in paragraphs and develop your points. So a reminder then, in a question that's level marked, there's normally 3 levels, especially for an 8 mark question. Level 3 is the top level, which is worth a maximum of 8 marks and 7 marks. The next level down is a clear answer, where you can get between 4 and 6 marks. And the most basic one, you'll get only up to 3 out of 8 marks. Let's look at the descriptions then. The examiner expects for a top level answer that you demonstrate thorough application of knowledge, that you demonstrate clear explanation. In this instance of what sustainable urban areas look like, you use good use of case studies with place-specific detail, and this is really important, you explicitly link the strategies with how this has increased sustainable urban living. A level 2 is clear and accurate knowledge. You demonstrate sound understanding, and the links in this student's answer might not be quite so explicit, they might be more implied. And then a basic answer just shows some understanding and it lacks real place or case study knowledge. Okay, going back to look at the question then. So we know our question, we've already bugged it. We've done number 1 and 2, so the next thing that we need to do is identify the number of points that need to be made and in what form. Well, because it's a level marked question, we need to know that we already know that we need to answer in paragraphs. The number of points that you make is up to you, but being aware that there are 8 marks available, you need to make enough points in your paragraphs to make sure that you reach the maximum of 8 marks. Now your main task is to actually not answer this question, but to brainstorm and make some notes. Now you can use your existing notes or the website that we've put together to help you, or if you want to challenge yourself a bit more, you can do it without. And I want you to write down what kind of thing would you answer if this was going to be your exam question. Some help to get you started. What would you need to include if you're looking to get top 8 marks for your response? You need to ask yourself the following questions. Have you explained what sustainable living actually is? So a definition somewhere in your answer. Have you referred to place names in your answer? Have you used key facts and figures and examples, such as talking about transport schemes and recycling schemes? Have you given explanations and reasons why these schemes increase sustainable living? Remember, for the level 3, it wants you to explicitly link them. So for example, you could talk about the Green Exchange in Kiribati, is where people in slums collect rubbish and they exchange these with the council, who pay them in fruit and vegetables. Consequently, as a result of that, Kiribati now recycles nearly 70% of all its waste. Okay, so back to the question then. This is your opportunity now to make your notes. You need to make sure that you've thought this through and completed all of the tasks, and make sure that you've prepared yourself before our next revision session. You'll then be answering this exam question in that session, and we'll be doing that in test conditions. Okay, good luck.